Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Set Listing Bruce, your podcast all about Bruce Springsteen, his music, and mostly his fans. I am your host, Jesse Jackson, and today we are setting a new record. I have a multitude of guests all here to talk about a special, gone but not forgotten Bruce fan. Why don't we go around the table and introduce yourselves, and we will, and then I want to hear whoever is going to take lead talk about what we're here to talk about.
Okay, I'm JoAnn. I am a friend of Moe's sister Eileen and Moe, and everybody here as well.
I'm Eileen, Maureen's sister. She's my baby sister.
Hi, I'm Joe. I'm Moe's nephew.
I'm Vinny. I'm Moe's friend.
Hi, I'm Tricia. I'm Moe's friend. And Eileen and Joe's friend.
Yes.
And JoAnn.
Yes.
We've all,
And
Jesse,
then
we've all
Snorri.
become very, very close friends.
I
Yeah.
imagine this is such a great story.
And Kathy's on the phone from LA.
Yes, Kathy is the one. She is not living through Twitter, wanting to know what's going to be played on the second part of the show tonight. She's actually going to be there listening, and we're all jealous.
Correct.
Yes, we are.
Yes, I won't get it. What we're here to talk about is your friend Maureen, a huge Springsteen fan. She was fighting her battle with cancer, and cancer. It takes too many good people. She lost the battle, correct?
Correct.
She
And
did.
so, in the spirit of Dr. Seuss, let's not be sad it's over. Let's be glad it happened. You guys decide to do something a little special to remember her. So, if that's vague enough introduction, why don't you guys take turns and tell me a little bit about her and then why you guys decide to do this?
Okay, we're gonna let Vinny and Trish start with this because this was their plan.
So MoeMac was the best person anyone would ever meet. I mean, no one who ever met her for a minute didn't say that she was the nicest person they knew. And she never had a bad thing to say about anyone. She was just happy all the time, even through her illness. She was just an amazing person who brought a lot of people together, when she was alive. And it was hard on us when she didn't, win this battle. And our good friend Vince,
Well, we were, and all the things Tricia said about Moe. I've known Moe since I was probably 8 years old. She was the ultimate. A lot of things Tricia said. She was the ultimate Southside Irish girl you'd ever meet. She epitomized our neighborhood. Not just all that, but like friendship, loyalty, and I can't remember ever being at a bar with Maureen where we didn't play a Springsteen song. And we were together Thanksgiving night or Thanksgiving weekend for a Notre Dame game, and I saw all her friends and her family, and you just couldn't help but think of Maureen. And we were talking about how the Springsteen concert was going, and we're saying, she'd have been at least at 3 or 4 of those shows. So I just said, why don't we all get together and cover as many shows for Moe as possible? And her two of her best friends, she had 900 best friends because she loved everybody. They took it to a new level. As okay, we're not just gonna go to these concerts. We're gonna get green shirts, and we're gonna.
And that is Kathy and Trish that are here.
And we're, and then they had a spreadsheet, and we had meetings about how to do this, and it just.
Spreadsheets are important.
Yeah, it is, and they now it's again, like Tricia said, I don't think Moe would want any of her friends being sad, and I think she probably got this idea going and said, all right, here, this is what I want. So that's kind of how, me, Tricia, and Snores got together on this. Snores is over there, probably readjusting her lipstick. Snores, did I miss anything?
She's the one in LA.
I think one of the important things we have to mention is when she was going through chemo, we went to 2 concerts in Nashville and Atlanta, and there was nothing stopping her from seeing her boyfriend.
So Nashville in 2012?
Yes.
I was there, so I feel like even more of a bond. So there's a couple things that come up to mind right away. One, I don't mean this sacrilegious, but I think it fits in the context. Matthew 18:20. By the way, I looked that up, listeners. I did not know this right off by hand, but I did know the verse that says, "For where 2 or 3 gather in my name, I am there with you." And I think of that when 2 or 3 of you are gathered there at a Springsteen show, she's there with you.
Correct.
And there's a lot of things that Bruce has said that I call gospel, but one of the most touching things I'd ever heard was at the Apollo Theater. I'm listening to it on Sirius, and when he says, "Are we missing anybody?" And he says, if you're here and we're here, they're here. And I just lost it because I think of grandparents and dear friends that are gone, and when you're at a big family gathering, you feel like they're there. And
Feel her.
yes, I imagine. What a wonderful idea.
Well, it's nice too because what the reaction that we're getting from fans, like to all of these shows we've been to, people have family members who are battling cancer who can't go to the show, and this one woman was like, "My husband is going to be so happy to hear this story. Like, he's going through this right now. I love that you guys are doing this." And everyone has lost a loved one, and they're like, Mo is still making people smile through these green t-shirts and this crazy tour that Vince started.
I mean,
it's nice.
Well, even when we were in St. Louis, there were people that would come up to you in the bathroom. We saw you on the Jumbotron. We know your green shirts. And now after all these concerts, when you go to one, people know who this group is. They recognize us and they say something.
And that St. Louis tour, like you're talking about, Mo was with us. We sat in the front row. The Rileys had a front row in their area, and the 4 of us had front row. That doesn't just happen. So we again, it was.
That was right behind stage. We are in all the videos. We are in all the pictures that people took because we're right behind him.
And that was like, someone is helping make this happen, and
right?
We think it's Mo. The magic of MoeMac.
Absolutely. That I totally agree. So this is not only in celebration of her, but I do feel like this is a way to inspire other fans and non-fans, not that anyone should not be a fan, to the no surrender, keep fighting. My personal one of my favorite songs is Better Days, because I love the message that life is a journey and you need to enjoy that journey. Every step of it, every moment of it, they are the better days. So tell me a little bit, share a few stories on the road, and then I also want to go back and hear some stories about maybe y'all's Springsteen story together.
Well, you just mentioned one of your songs, No Surrender. Mo's ringtone on her phone was always No Surrender. And when she wrote out her mass booklet, which she basically dictated to me, she had quoted some Springsteen things, and she had a couple of songs that were quoted in there, and one was her No Retreat, No Surrender, and the other one was Meet Me in the Land of Hope and Dreams.
I was just interviewed. I'm so proud that Dad Rock, the podcast for USA Today, met with me and interviewed me. One of them has been on the podcast, and I'm trying to get the other one on there. And they said, "What are your 3 top Springsteen songs, if you can do that?" And I said, "Land of Hope and Dreams," "Better Days," and the third one, "Changes Every Day." And I said that's as close as I could get, and I know that's a cheat. Land of Hope and Dreams is my default when I need to write something on a web page when someone has passed. I've told the story many times that I quoted that at one of my best friend's funeral, and I quoted it at my father's funeral, and I hope years from now, years from now, my son will quote it at mine. So I already love her because she has great taste.
That she does.
Talk about was how long had Moe been a fan, and how about all of you? Are you guys just fans of Moe, or are you fans of Bruce as well?
Well, I'm a lifer since I was in 7th grade. So
Okay.
Born to Run was my first album that I learned, and then it was going back to the other albums prior to that. And I've been traveling to the concerts with my siblings since we were young, and we've never missed a show in Chicago. And now we've separated a little bit on the tour because one went to Arizona with Trish, and then another one went to Louisville, and then my 2 sisters went to the Chicago concert with me. So lifer over here.
And I would say Maureen was probably my biggest influence for Bruce because she was always listening to him. I was away at college, she was home, and then she was in college and I was working, and then later on we just kind of got together again, and she was always listening to Bruce. She had him in his car, she had him on Sirius XM. She was always playing Bruce songs. So Trisha and I, and probably, I'm going to say 20 people went to the Jersey concert, and it was probably 15 years ago in the Meadowlands. And Maureen was really the reason that we went because she loves New York. So we all went to New York. We spent the weekend there. We got limos and we went across to the Meadowlands. We tailgated in the parking lot and it started to rain. So we all went inside. And by the time we got inside, it was a downpour. And Bruce, like, we all went into the bathroom to get garbage bags as our ponchos. And Bruce came out playing Who'll Stop the Rain. And it was just something that I remember, you know, every time I see him, if it's raining, you know, that's the song that I think about. And that was, I got to spend that time with Moe.
I probably went to all but 2 of the 23 shows I've been to with Moe. She just, if he was in Chicago, she went all 3 nights.
Right.
And she would, like, we would get a ticket together, and then all of a sudden she would call me and be like, I went again last night. I'd be like, oh my God. And then she would go the next night. She couldn't get enough of him. And now because we've been going to so many shows on this tour, and we went to so many on the last tour with her, I get it. Like, every show is different, and you know, he's just so unique, and he's playing the same album for the first hour and a half, but it's not the same show ever, and it's just,
And there's no one that can match his stamina,
yeah,
his personality. There's
it's
no one
just
like
great.
him.
It's great.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. There was a fair amount of buzz from some people that, well, I won't go to multiple shows because part of the joy of seeing Bruce is you never know the set list. But I've made 2 shows so far on this tour, both Pittsburgh and then Louisville. And then,
We were in Pittsburgh.
yes, and then I'm planning to go to the Dallas, which is my home show, and then Oklahoma City. My son is going to his first show, and I'm ecstatic. I did not feel like it was the same show at all. I think the diversity of the river, and then what songs he's doing, and then Louisville, we got the little bonus after Shout when Max had given away his drumsticks. All of a sudden, Bruce like, I still feel like playing, and they did, Bobby Jean, and I felt like I'd gotten a whole second concert, just that one song, because you're sitting there depressed that it's over, and you're like, oh, we've got one more. So yes. Um, Now I know that you. I read your open letter to Bruce. Um, and so talk a little bit about what you guys were hoping that he could acknowledge, maybe, or play a song for you guys. So, and share that story with me.
And let me just start with, I think as Trisha and Vince and Snores came up with this, MoeMac concert tour, it was just, we were just going to go because it was Maureen's love of music. And while we were they ordered the t-shirts, and while we were in Pittsburgh, there were so many people who stopped us. And they're like, what are your shirts all about? Tell us the story. And, we were in tears, they were in tears, and it just really brought us all together. And then it was some guy in a bar who said, well, you need to start a Facebook page. And we started that Facebook page and invited our friends, and it was 20 likes, it was 30 likes, and now we're up to over 300. And it's amazing because you see people every day in the workforce, and they're like, wow, you guys are doing an amazing thing. I don't know, it's wild.
It's bringing people together from all walks of life, because everyone has a connection to this in one way or another.
So on our way home from Pittsburgh, it was JoAnn who got this letter together, and then she can tell you the story about that one.
Well, I just had a friend who is a close person. Well, he knows the head of security at the United Center, and I was able to get a package to Bruce and the band with my letter and some shirts in it to Bruce. And I do know that he received them. And the night of the Chicago show, I didn't tell anybody about what I requested. And my request was that he play No Surrender or Into the Fire. And so during No Surrender, the lights went green. And we were all in a box. There were 40 of us in 2 skyboxes. And I looked at Eileen and I said, I think this is for you guys. And you're not sure because you have no confirmation. But he took 3 times to start the song. And I've never seen that ever at one of his concerts before.
And he didn't check it in the set list. My brother was on the floor, and he didn't sound check No Surrender. So, I mean, my brothers went to like 50 shows, and he was like, he played that for you because of this amazing letter.
So we believe that was played for them, and the stage has been green with that since then when he brings it into the show. We feel like he's connected with the group. And in St. Louis, he walked to the corner of the stage. He looked right at these 4. He pointed up at them. And in the bathroom, they said the 4 of them were on the Jumbotron through the whole song. So
we went to Milwaukee, and there were a couple of girls who had the shirts on the floor. And, I think JoAnn's letter was just some type of little acknowledgement. She said, I know that, you can't meet us. We're not getting autographs. It was just for him to acknowledge that we were there, whatever it was. So there were 2 girls on the floor, and a security guard walked up to them, and he said, we've been looking for you. And these 2 girls looked at him like, well, what do you mean? What did we do? We just got here. And the security guard said, I'll be right back. And he came back, and he gave them the shirt that Bruce autographed, the one that JoAnn got to him in Chicago a month and a half.
About 5 weeks in between.
Prior to that. So this girl says, I have a present. She's texting me. I could see her. We were way up tall, and she was down near the floor, but she wasn't in the pit. She was behind. And she said, we have a present. We have an incredible MoeMac present. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So I met her after the concert, and she had her purse around her waist, and I saw this T-shirt, and I said, oh my God, he gave you back the T-shirt. And she took it out and opened it up, and there was his giant autograph. So we came around the building, and there were 6 of us still standing outside, and we were in tears. We were just in amazement. And as we stood on the street talking, still in awe, Bruce drove by in his car, and he honked, and he waved to us.
It was awesome.
That is awesome.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So here's where, when you say, what would you request? So here's where I am. Because, I didn't get enough yet for this group of people. So this is what I'm thinking, and you could go ahead and publicize this to everyone in Brooklyn, because New York and Brooklyn it's the last show in the States before he goes out of country. And this group is going to go to the April 23rd concert. And what I would love.
You can do it, JoAnn.
Oh my God. I would love for the people in Brooklyn to support this group and order t-shirts online. And I would love that whole place to be in green t-shirts that night. So Moe's spirit is there for that last weekend, that last show, that this group would be together. And if they can't do that, I would love for Bruce to bring my friend Eileen on stage and let her dance during Dancing in the Dark, since Moe never got her chance to dance. So,
Right.
So those are my very small requests.
She's not asking for a lot, Jesse.
Oh yeah, all we need to do is, green out the the stadium. Where is the link to get shirts?
It's actually on the website.
It's on the Facebook page.
Oh, the Facebook page, yes.
There is, they can either message on the Facebook page directly to us. There's also an order form that is on the Facebook page that they could print out and mail in, or
It's got the contact information and address and stuff.
and so all the information is on the Facebook page, and there is now a Twitter page as well that is linked to the Facebook page. And the Twitter page is at MMSpringsteen16, because we couldn't fit all the letters in.
And
So we would like everyone to bring her spirit here. She's here, and she's connected more, as I said before, and I said in the letter. She has brought more people together in her death than anyone could do in an entire lifetime.
So I'm looking at the page now. It says submit no later than Monday, February 22nd. But you guys are going to share. Are you printing them as they go, or do you have others print up?
We're printing them basically as we go, as people were ordering them.
But if everyone's going to order them for Brooklyn, we'll make a nice big order.
Once Snorris gets back from her concert in LA.
We'll make sure everyone gets their shirts.
We've already had some orders since we've connected with Mitch out in Jersey, and people that have friended him and now have connected on our page are ordering shirts that have never met us, don't know us, but they love her story and they want to represent her at these concerts.
Well, I will tell you, Chris and I are going to Oklahoma City, and I had my Set Lusting Bruce shirts to wear to promote the podcast. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to order the Moe t-shirts, and we're going to change. We're going to pre-show, we're going to have our Set Lusting Bruce shirts on, because I try to talk to people and kind of do a pre-show live to tape, kind of, I just visit with anyone I can find, kind of get their prescriptions, and then I go edit up and I put that as a trip report. But then we will change to the Moe, and we will wear green in Oklahoma City, and I will wear green in Dallas for you guys.
I don't think we had those concerts covered. So nice.
Well, I just think that, and the T-shirt, it's going to a scholarship, correct?
Yes, Maureen went to Loyola in Chicago, and for a semester she studied abroad in Rome, Loyola of Rome, and when they came up with the T-shirt design and idea, a portion of the money is going to the scholarship that was set up in her name that helps to send some kids to Loyola of Rome.
And helps kids who might not otherwise have the chance for extra activities in school, so it's for a good cause. And for, we always say Moe took everything to the next level. Like, she was just like the fun, never ended. And so we're just trying to spread more of her sunshine through this.
What do you think she would have been thinking about this river tour?
I think she would have loved it. And I think she would have been to as many concerts as she can. I know she would have been in Milwaukee. I know she would have been in Chicago. Our niece, the first concert when we went to Pittsburgh, she would have been there because her goddaughter is now in school in Pittsburgh, and Maureen would have been right there on that tour also. I think she would have loved it. And I swear to God, she's looking down at us.
Oh, she's here.
Loving it.
And like I said in the letter, the ironic thing about Moe is she would have rather had her family experience all of these Bruce things than herself alone. And so she's with us experiencing it all.
I'm always very proud when and kind of in awe of people that channel their grief into something positive. And so I think that this is something really wonderful and something each of you should be proud of, that you are taking your love for your friend, your relative, and trying to show that, to share this kind of love with the world and through Bruce's music, right?
Absolutely. I mean, his music is so inspiring. Like her playlist for chemo were all Bruce songs, and like Kathy said earlier, she planned the 2 trips when she knew like she wasn't doing well, and she planned 2 trips to out of town concerts to go see him, and it's just, he's so uplifting, and you can relate to something in every one of his songs, depending on, like you said, your third favorite is different depending on the day. I feel like that's how it is. Depending on what you're going through in life, there's a song you can relate to, because he has such a connection with people.
Well, he's just a regular person who connects with everyone, and he's always out to do the right thing. When he talks in his concerts, he doesn't do it as much as he used to, but when he shares his stories, he connects everybody, where so many stars put themselves so far above everybody else, and there's no connection. He just has always been just this guy who gets you. He gets everybody.
And his energy is so amazing, and that's one of the things that Moe had too, was the same amount of energy in everything she did.
Oh, you didn't talk about. Oh, God.
Yeah, my lovely bride is not a fan of his music, but she loves going to see him perform live. She just is amazed. She has a little crush on Max, which, of course, who doesn't? And she just is amazed at their energy and the joy that he shares for that plus 3 hours.
He definitely outlasts his audience these days. There's no doubt.
Yes, I have a slight bone to pick with people that, I can't believe you're sitting down. Look, I'm old. I need to sit down. That doesn't mean I'm not loving the show.
My daughter was with us in St. Louis. It was her first concert, and she was surprised that people were sitting down.
Yeah, this crew doesn't sit, Jesse.
I just thought,
you respect those that do.
What was funny, I've always said I'm too old and out of shape to do the pit thing. I always get a seat. And then you see these 91-year-old fans that are doing the pit and getting to dance with Bruce, and I feel like I'm a lazy SOB.
You have to wear comfortable shoes.
Yes, I guess so. What else would you want our listeners to know about Moe and her legacy?
She fought until the very end. She loved Bruce. She loved everybody in that band. She actually named her chemo bed Clarence. Clarence, I think, after Clarence in the East Street Band, and Clarence, her guardian angel.
Wow.
And she lived until she died.
And
Like, oh,
one of my favorite lines is from the writer Neil Gaiman, and there is a comic book he wrote that stars death, and a young baby dies in the comic, and the baby says, "Is that all?" And death says, "You get what everyone gets, a lifetime." And the truth is, we want to, we only get a lifetime. We hope there's a life ever after. I believe there is. I don't want to get too sentimental or spiritual on this, but I believe there is. But this life, we only get one ride, and we want to, I think we should be good to each other and try to help things. And it sounds like Moe was a kind person and always there to help people and to make people smile. And I think I would have liked her a great deal.
and actually that leads right into what Eileen wanted to say about the hashtag that they put in place because of her.
So it was actually the day that Maureen passed away, and my sister had to pick up my nephews. We all went down to her house, and one of my nephews said, hashtag LLMM. And my sister was like, what are you saying? He said, we all have to live like MoeMac. So that's been our thing. It's on our t-shirts. It's on the fundraiser t-shirts that we had when we had a benefit. It's on our posts. People constantly are tweeting it out and posting it, and we all get it. We know what it's like, and it makes people stop and think that we need to live like MoeMac because she led an amazing life, and we all have to try to be just like her.
Absolutely. Tell me the Twitter account again.
At MMSpringsteen16.
At MMSpringsteen16.
16.
I see it, and I will now retweet it. Very good. And the Facebook page is at?
It is MoeMac Springsteen Tour 2016.
Okay.
We got your tweet waiting to go.
Okay, good. And then we will we want to get as many green shirts out there as we can. I just think this is a wonderful way to honor your friend and to raise a little money and to just to share her legacy. And that's well
Keeping
done.
the spirit alive.
Yes. And
as you said, when 2 or 3 gather in her name, we would like 2 or 3,220 to gather in her name.
Absolutely. Very nice. Any final words or thoughts?
We really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us.
Thank you so much. It's so nice meeting you and giving us this opportunity to. It's JoAnn is like the she gives credit to me, Vince, and Kathy, but JoAnn is like the spark plug here. We're like, we just came up with t-shirts and an idea. JoAnn has really taken this to the next level, and we appreciate you helping to get the message.
Well, like I said, when I'm watching them go through this journey and seeing how it's helping them and seeing the reaction that they get from people at these concerts, it really is something. And she's here and she's connecting with people and she's changing people through this whole process. It's hard to explain, but it's happening.
I have a little faith. There is magic in the night, and I totally agree.
Oh, Jesse.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. But for now, I'm going to end this with grab your ticket and your suitcase. Thunder's rolling down this track. Well, you don't know where you're going now, and you know you won't be back. Well, darling, if you're weary, lay your head upon my chest. We'll take what we can carry, yeah, and we'll leave the rest. Big wheels roll through fields where sunlight streams. Meet me in a land of hope and dreams. And I have no doubt that Moe is waiting for us there. So thanks, guys. Have a great night.
All right. Thank you, Jesse. We'll keep in touch. have quite a crew.
Yes, that's awesome. This may be the most people I've had on a podcast, but that's great. So good.
We like to be different, Jesse.